What's up, everybody? Welcome to the View from Jamestown podcast edition. It's June 2018. Nice rainy morning, sitting down with Rob Roach, TCC president, and AJ Pacharka, GM of sales. Thank you guys for joining us on this rainy morning.
Happy Monday.
Good morning.
Happy Monday. What's going on with you guys? What's on your guys' minds? How's things going over the last couple weeks? It's been a couple weeks since we were able to sit down and do a podcast. So what's been going on?
It's been a pretty hectic few weeks. A lot of things are tight and short of supply, and we're just trying to manage volumes the best that we can. I guess it's been kind of a crazy last month or so.
Yeah, May was very strong. Just coming into the first couple of days here in June, and exactly what AJ just said, managing what we have, what's available. Pretty much what we forecasted 6 months ago is happening. Intermediates are very tight, lack of availability for numerous reasons I'm sure we'll get to in the depths of this podcast.
Yeah, and obviously all that going on the product front, and then we also are coming out of the so-called trade show season. We've had a lot of events going on, a lot of travel with the team, and kind of over that hump. AJ, maybe want to talk about that a little bit, what we've been up to. Obviously, if you've been listening to the podcast, you kind of know where we've been and what we've been doing and what's been going on. It's been a busy spring, but maybe just a quick overview of the last couple months.
Yeah, we had kind of the perfect storm of big trade shows at the first half of this year, the AFPM, the American Coating Show, and then the NPE kind of right back to back. Happy to have those done and behind us. It was really productive and all three.
Inexpensive.
Not to mention expensive. But yeah, they were all three really, great shows / conferences. But like I said, glad to have them behind us and we can focus on work now, getting stuff done.
Yeah, it seems like it was a good time for the different shows and events with everything going on with the logistics industry and different things that are going on. Like you said, Rob, things that are tight this time of year. Everyone's interested to find new sources and talk to people about what's going on and, potentially being able to secure their supply in other avenues. So definitely a good time for those shows. I think they were definitely good for TCC, and it was good to see everyone at all three shows. Things going on kind of around the industry, and even beyond just general news. I think one of the biggest things last week, Trump announced that he's going to move forward with the tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and the EU. Still early to see what that's actually going to impact, as well as what we might see for some retaliatory tariffs from those countries. But what are you guys seeing super early on? How do you envision that might affect us downstream and the industry as a whole?
I just think it's more stress on an already overstressed economy. We have trucking issues, we have supply issues, we have a changing China and lack of supply coming out of there. We have a lot of stress on our overall industry, and this just creates more. So those that have been in a position of buying for the cheapest price for the last 10 or even 15 years are really getting caught with their pants down here, because they're going to pay a premium now. So all those savings will now be made up in losses. So if they can get the material. So what's the saying? You're a pound foolish and a penny
wise and a pound foolish.
There you go.
Is that it?
There you go. So no, I just think that as we've seen in the past, there's a lot of blowing up of the room and then realigning and hopefully gaining something in our benefit. We'll see if that holds true. This could turn into a full-on global trade war.
And at this point, is your only recommendation really just to hold tight and keep an eye on what's going on and try to monitor stuff? I mean, there's not really a whole lot actionable you can do based on what we're seeing yet, or?
I'm going to repeat what I've said the last few months. If you have room on the floor, get inventory. If the demand is there, the economy's popping. Worldwide, the economy's popping. If you can buy it, put it on the floor. You'll eventually lose it. I don't think you'll lose. I don't see product prices retreating anytime soon. And so even if it is more of a closed economy here in the USA, there's still a tremendous amount of demand, especially since when you consider the damage of the storms, the impact of storms, fires, hurricanes, earthquakes, et cetera, worldwide, and especially in the United States, there's rebuilding going on. So there's a lot of pent up demand that we're forecasting.
Yeah, it's a good point too. It's been crazy to see like the stuff happen in Hawaii, and even we already had our first hurricane over on the East Coast this year. So the weather's interesting too. It might be an interesting summer, the way stuff's shaping up.
I don't think it's interesting. I think it's a new norm.
Yeah.
You know, it is the way it is. You know, I don't know what you call it, or you know, I don't want to get into politics here of what you want to call it, but it's just the new norm. It wasn't just last year. It's been the last 5-10 years. So, you know, you have to expect interruption from that as well. We're talking about interruption because of lack of supply, tariffs, all this sort of stuff. What's coming in August, September, October?
Yeah. Switching gears a little bit, we're right kind of in the middle of what's known as Road Check Week around the logistics industry. June 5th to the 7th, kind of the 72-hour blitz that trucks are stopped and checked for compliance with I think it's like a 30 or a 50-point test and inspection to see what's going on. Last year in 2017, of everyone that was stopped, 32% of drivers were placed out of service because of hours violations. And that was pre the official ELD regulations. So it might be interesting to see what comes out of that. And obviously will negatively impact an already tight trucking market. Are you guys kind of seeing the same thing around the trucking and the logistics industry?
Great timing for this. This is horrible.
This is going to be the Debbie Downer podcast of the year. Yeah, insult to injury on that one. It's you know, for what drivers are left, they're going to have to deal with this, and I guess all in all, it's for the good of society, and we're not going to have you know, trucks that are out of compliance or damaged out there. So, but it's another hiccup in supply.
I heard that guys are just going to keep trucks off of the road for those days. You know,
yeah, I heard the same thing. Guys just won't drive. They just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
Thanks for the heads up. We'll just stay home. Yeah, it's going to be a tough couple weeks. Luckily, it's at the beginning of the month. If it was at the end of last month when a lot of price increases were happening, people were trying to increase inventories prior to the increased pricing. At least they were at the beginning of June, and a lot of people already have inventory on the floor.
I think too, it is at least summertime, especially up in the Northeast. You know, a lot of trucks don't want to drive to the Northeast in January. You know, it's just not fun for obvious reasons. So at least it's happening in the summer where at least it's nicer weather, and hopefully there's theoretically at least more drivers on the road and willing to make certain runs.
I like the optimism.
Yeah, I mean, trying to, you know. Moving on a little bit, pricing updates and trends. I know we touched upon it a little bit. Maybe what do you guys see specifically going on from the raw materials all the way down to maybe some more finished goods?
Propylene's up 5. That's the big news. You know, the rest are mainly flat. Even you know, crude's gone down a good bit. You know, we've seen about a 8 to 10% decrease in overall crude pricing over the last week or so. Doesn't have any effect on product pricing just yet, but I think the fact that the propylene price jumped as high as it did is the biggest news we got right now.
Yeah, on my front, you know, I manage obviously urea. Prices rolled from May into June. Typically this time of year, prices come down a little bit just because it's getting towards the end of the fertilizer season, but demand's still staying relatively strong. Maybe because of the lack of the spring here in the Northeast, people are still planting and doing those things. So,
Is that kind of the norm you're seeing? Obviously, you manage a certain portfolio of products, but you're kind of involved with a lot of different stuff too. Is that what you're seeing for the most part? And a lot of stuff's flat to maybe a little bit higher, kind of throughout, or?
Yeah, and I think like I said, a lot of that has to do with the lack of the spring. People weren't planting or doing, you know, home improvements for building products and things like that. So a lot of things just weren't happening as early in the year as they usually do. So things are starting to, I think, pick up now as the weather's changed and it's starting to get nicer outside.
Yeah, moving on, featured products, stuff going on with TCC. One of the biggest ones we have expanded slightly, and we added a category under mining products. So we have Javier Fernandez, who's also our Latin American operations manager, who's going to be overseeing a lot of that. We already have a couple trade shows lined up and things that he's going to be attending, which is good. So we're hoping to really expand and break into that market a little bit more. I think we have a little bit in the past, but something that we can actively pursue. So if you search the TCC site or the TCC app for mining products, you'll see, I think we have 50 or 60 products on there as of now. under that category. So that's, I think, one we're excited for, and something we've done, I think, in the past a little bit, but not in official capacity. So something we're actively targeting and looking at, which is pretty exciting to continue to expand.
It is exciting to know we've got a nice basket of products that go into the mining industry. Like you said, we've been dabbling in it for years, but just to catalyze this whole thing and get out there and push our line into the mining companies is exciting.
Yeah, and right along those same lines, Javi's going to the Elko Mining Expo out in Nevada this week. I think he's leaving tomorrow. So this next couple of days, he's going to go out there and walk the show and meet with some people out there. So if you're in the Nevada area, make sure you send him an email or send us a note. We'll be happy to meet up with you. A little bit quieter of a summer on the trade show front, which is a good thing. I think we're all excited for a little bit of a break and just to actually sit at our desk for once, which will be nice. But some stuff coming up this summer, the Vinyl Compounders Conference in Charleston. I know we have a good number of people going to that. I think 6 or 8 people total going down to that for the week, which will be good. Southwestern Fertilizer Conference, AJ and Corey Mullins going San Antonio right smack in the middle of the summer. Should be hot.
Oh, yeah, to say the least.
What's the weather usually like there in July? You're talking like 100 plus?
It's in the high 90s. Like you can't really be outside.
Yeah.
You're at the River Center or Riverwalk Marriott in the AC for the whole time. But it's an important one. It's the fertilizer conference in the U.S. Really. I mean, there's that and the TFI, but it's a big one.
Yeah. And then the next one we'll have a booth at or exhibiting at is the Specialty and Agro Chemicals America show. More towards the fall. It's in September in Charleston, South Carolina. Again, AJ, and then we'll have a couple other sales managers down there. You want to talk about that one a little bit? I know we've done that for a little while now.
Yeah, this will be our fourth year exhibiting at the Chemicals America show in Charleston. It's a lot of custom manufacturing, bulk, industrial type chemistries. It's good just for the variety of folks that are there, from custom manufacturers to packaging to different processors and stuff like that. There's a lot of different things at the show that really fall into our basket of business.
And we'll have a booth there, so you can find us out there.
Isn't there a second show too now?
So they're adding a second show. I think it's February of next year.
It's in 2019 and it's in Fort Worth, Texas. Yeah. I don't know what month it is though, but
I think it's February, wasn't it?
I think it's February. Yeah. I think it's a slightly different focus, but we're also gonna be at that one too. We're gonna exhibit as well. We'll have our tabletop booth there and a couple people there as well. So we'll definitely send out stuff and make sure everyone knows we'll be at that one as well, coming up soon. Only other big ones really this year, the EPCA and the APLA. Rob, maybe you want to talk about each of those a little bit, what those are. I know we go every year, and that's one of the 4 big conferences we attend in a year.
Yeah, excited about EPCA this year. It's in Vienna. Great city, been there once before, and looking forward to seeing all our European counterparts at the EPCA. Early October is when that falls. And then, of course, the APLA, I believe this year is in Mexico.
It's in Cancun.
It's in Cancun. Not a bad place to go for a meeting, and that's usually early November. So, and again, that's Association Petrochemicas Latin America. And Cancun will be a nice venue for that.
Will you be at both of those, or do you just go to EPCA?
Yeah, I think I'll be at both of those. I usually just go to EPCA, but it's too tempting to go to Cancun.
Not a bad deal.
No.
Moving on, company news and stuff going on with TCC. I know we have our sales meeting coming up in June. We have the staff come in from all over the country and around the world for that matter. So it'll be good to see everyone, once a year right over in Newport. We're also right in the middle of our ISO 14001 and our NACD certifications. We'll have more maybe from our EH&S manager sometime in the next couple months. Maybe we'll have them down on a podcast. You want to maybe talk about what each of those are a little bit and what we've been working on?
Well, the 14,001 is a change from our ISO 9001, and it's a process. It's more environmental focused, recycling, giving back to the community, making sure that you're keeping everyone safe. It's a little different than processes, which was our prior ISO, and it's taken a while. I think we've got some pretty intense auditors this time, but they're certainly helping to improve the company through many directives, and of course the NACD. We're a member of the NACD. I just think that each year they go through a qualification process to make sure that, once again, that we're doing the right thing, and they've done some audits and reviews. So I don't think that we're too worried about that one, because we've gone through it in the past. So, but it's always good to have outside people come in and look at what you're doing and make suggestions, and sometimes they're real good quality suggestions, and we take them and run with them.
Yeah, we're going to put a little bit of a feature and some info in the June View email version, as well as on the website. So anyone's listening, feel free to click through that, and we'll have some more info from Matt Francoeur, EH&S manager, and Caitlin Hagan's been working on that as well in the office. So we've had some good number of people working on this over the last couple months. So I think we're excited to get it all done and get it wrapped up. Any final thoughts, guys? Anything else coming up in June or in the summertime as a whole, for that matter? Hopefully it actually starts to feel like maybe summer at some point here, but
just sort of repeating where we started. I just think that it's important that people stay ahead of things right now. Take action, and I'm not saying this because we want more orders. Whoever you buy from, make sure that you've got a solid line of supply, and more importantly, a very good relationship. And I think what's lost a lot of times in our business, when it skews either to the buyer's side or the seller's side, is the relationships that are created over the long term. And that's what TCC is a long-term relationship-oriented company. We're supplying our customers the best we can, taking hits at times, doing things different on the logistics side to secure trucks. The people that have been long-term, rateable, and loyal to the chemical company are getting supply. And I think that a year ago, when we came up with our theme for this year of security of supply, we couldn't have been more forward thinking.
Yeah. AJ, any last thoughts? Anything else going on?
I think Rob wrapped it up pretty well. We'll see how this how the truck stop or the driver check pans out for us over the next few weeks. That's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, we're just keeping an eye on everything and doing our best to keep everyone supplied.
Nice, guys. Well, appreciate you guys taking the time and sitting down this morning. For everyone listening, so the TCC mobile app is live on the Apple App Store as well as the Google Play Store for anyone on an Android. So you can go right through there. You can link out to the podcast, get all the notes, as well as news and market trends, price updates, all that good stuff. That's all available right through the app. It's all free. It's all entirely complimentary. So we hope you check that out at some point and add that to your morning news routine or however you get your info. Podcast also available pretty much anywhere you can get your podcast or your audio entertainment, SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Google Play Store, thechemco.com/podcast. You can stream right to a computer, depending if you're listening at work or in the car. There's a lot of different avenues. So we hope that we find the podcast wherever it's convenient for you, and we appreciate you listening. Feel free to check out the notes on this podcast as well for links and articles to things we were talking about. Other than that, appreciate you listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks, guys.